One of the most deflating experiences that we can have when it comes to interpersonal relationships is when we're ready to be vulnerable and open with someone. We speak to them from our heart with sincerity. We tell them something personal, we express an emotion, and their response is not just a rejection of what it is that we're trying to say, and it's not just lacking validity of what it is that we're saying, but they dismiss us and they laugh us off. And that's something which is truly painful, and it makes us caution ourselves to exposing ourselves in the future, again with that person or with someone else. The Torah tells us in this week's Parsha, Parshas Vayera, there are many stories, and one of them is the story of the Malachim who visit Lot in Sodom, and their mission is to take Lot out of Sodom before Hashem destroys the city. And so they go into Sodom, they go into Lot's house, and Lot doesn't realize at first that they're Malachim. And the local people wanted to do bad things with these angels who seemed like people. And so they're banging on the door, trying to get into the house. And Lot comes out and sort of closes the door behind him, and he says to them, wait, leave these people alone. They came here to visit me. And the people don't listen to Lot. And all of a sudden, the Torah describes that one of the Malachim reach out to Lot, they pull him inside, they close the door, and they tell him that they're really Malachim, and that Hashem is going to destroy the city. And what happened to the people who were standing and banging on the door? Weren't they going to get into the house? Well, Torah tells us that there was a plague, it was a makkah, in which they all became blind. And Chazal tell us it wasn't just the people at the door, but everyone in the city, from young to old, everyone became blind. And then Lot turns to the Malachim and says, what do we do? And the Malachim say, get anyone that you know who is your family in the city, tell them Hashem is going to destroy the city, and they have one chance to run for their life, and we're about to go. And so Lot goes to his daughters, and he goes to his son-in-laws, and he says, listen, Hashem is going to destroy the city. And, I want you to come with us. We're going to run away so that we're saved, so we don't get killed. And the pasuk says, Lot's son-in-laws laughed him off. They laughed him off. And in the end, they perished because they laughed him off. And the Shem Yishmuel asks an amazing question. He says, how is it possible that they saw what happened to all the people in the city? They saw that everyone became blind. And here, Lot is telling them that, look, Hashem is going to destroy the city. Clearly, Hashem is present. Look what happened to all of these people. How could it be that these son-in-laws just laughed him off when they see in front of their eyes everyone became blind? And so he explains as follows. He says this makkah, this plague of blindness that happened to all of the people in the city, he says it wasn't only physical, but it was also emotional. It was also in the pneumius, inside of the people. And that was that people not only couldn't see with their eyes, but they also couldn't see with their mind. They couldn't allow themselves to see that which was right in front of them, things which were clear as day, such as when their father-in-law says to them, look, can't you see Hashem's going to destroy the city? And they refused to see it because they couldn't bring themselves to actually recognize and see the acts and the works and the hands of Hashem present at that moment right in front of them. And so the Shem Yishmuel says the same is true when it comes to our lives. There are times where we, although we can see physically, where we have the inability to see in the pneumius, inside, the inability to see not only ourselves, but sometimes we have the inability to see others, the suggestions of others, the vulnerability of others, the sincerity of others. And so instead of focusing on ourselves and how I am doing, when someone suggests something to me and they're coming from a place in which I really see them being true and being sincere and being vulnerable, how can I not listen and think, hey, maybe I got something wrong here. Maybe there's another side to this. Maybe I need to look at this picture in a different way. And that's the lesson we learned from the story of Lot and his son-in-laws. Wishing that all of us are able to see in more ways than one. Thank you for listening, and have a good Shabbos.